Hey guys, Chris from the Tiger's Den, and today is going to be the first in a series of videos where I am going to look at games that died too soon. So maybe you guys are familiar with a company called Gearbox. Gearbox makes Borderlands, the series. It's incredibly popular, despite its controversies. But Gearbox also made another game. And this game to me was an amalgam of so many things that I wanted. Today we're going to talk about Battleborn. Now, Battleborn is an interesting game to talk about because when you talk about it, a lot of people bring up Overwatch and the effect that Overwatch had on Battleborn. The thing about that I'm going to say is weird is having played both games, they're really nothing alike. Yeah, both have goofy, cartoonish characters in them that have their own abilities. But aside from that, that's really where the comparison ends. Overwatch has a sort of hero shooter, almost like Team Fortress, sort of feel to it, where you're picking characters and the main goal is to push a payload up the field, similar to a game like Paladins that Overwatch borrows from seemingly quite a bit. But Overwatch does not have anything beyond that. It's pick a character, push the payload, or whatever other game modes you want to play. And then if you get knocked out, you can swap characters. So it makes it really, I'm going to use the word easy, subjective, but it makes it really easy to counter other teams and whatever they're doing mid-match by simply getting knocked out and switching characters. Really, your entire team comp can change after a wipe or after a knockout, unlike the other games that I'll talk about, which is Battleborn. Now, Battleborn has some elements of a hero shooter in it, but Battleborn is really closer to a MOBA. Now, Battleborn does have a full campaign or story mode in it that, again, Overwatch does not have. And the story mode was really actually quite fun. It had a lot of the same humor that Borderlands was known for, but in its own characters and its own twist. The voice actors in Battleborn put to shame anyone cast in another hero shooter-like game. It was great. All the characters had personality. All of them felt and looked radically different. I really enjoyed it. Now, that said, Battleborn's main premise and its main selling point was not the story mode. It was the player versus player team battles, because the team battles would function like a MOBA, where you had towers and you had minions and you had leveling. And I think that's the part that really sets Battleborn, to me, away from games like Overwatch. And I would almost say if Battleborn is here and it's like a true MOBA shooter, and Overwatch is here and it's a real class-based hero shooter, Paladins kind of falls in between that, where you are pushing a payload, but you have the leveling and the buying items that's borrowed from the MOBA genre. Now, Battleborn had a really interesting meta develop when I was playing the game that had a lot of really balanced play, and I think that's one of the things I enjoyed out of the gate. But why did Battleborn fail? That's the question whenever I talk to a friend and I tell him about Battleborn. I'm like, oh, I missed this game. This is what it was. Why did it fail? Well, if you were paying attention to video games, like releases and whatnot, you would know why it died. It came out really around the same time Call of Duty and Overwatch came out. So, people make these like at a glance comparisons. And that's really on Gearbox, right? That's on Gearbox and 2K. They should have marketed that game better or differently. Pushed how different it was from Team Fortress, pushed how different it was from Overwatch. Because if you're not, or Call of Duty, because if you're not doing that, then people are going to look at Call of Duty, they're going to look at Overwatch, and they're going to look at Battleborn. They're going to say, oh man, 3 different shooters to pick from. And the people that pick Call of Duty every year are going to pick Call of Duty because they don't mind getting the same game every year with barely any reasoning for buying the new title. And you have Blizzard fans, which are ravenous and plentiful because Blizzard was at one point known for making quality, high class games. And then you had Battleborn, who, and at the time, this was even before 2K was, making all the missteps they've been making, and it was before Gearbox, it was before Randy essentially started actively trying to shoot himself in the foot. So really it was a confluence of like so many events that led to the death of Battleborn. And Battleborn eventually went free to play. And so I guess I should reiterate that Battleborn isn't dead, but it's effectively dead. In June 2017, Battleborn transitioned to a free-to-play title. Now, free-to-play doesn't inherently mean bad, but its free-to-play model, it was a little weird. Let me explain. The game transitioned to its free-to-play mode. What that effectively meant is that players could download Battleborn and play for free, getting access to a rotating roster of characters, but still being able to earn in-game currency and permanently unlock those characters. In other words, they wanted to open the floodgates, get a ton of new players, hopefully, and get them to, rather than wait for progression, spend a little bit of money on the characters they liked to unlock them and upgrade them first. Okay. But one thing that the free trial did that really did not shock anyone, I think, is that they locked the story mode so that no one was going to be playing the story. Now, you could still get the story mode by buying Battleborn. So yeah, the game went free to play if you wanted to play the multiplayer MOBA mode of the game. But if you wanted to play, say, the story-based stuff, you had to buy the actual game. That was an interesting choice. Now, why do I talk about this game? I think this game had boundless potential, and that potential was mucked by a lesser game from a more trusted publisher, as well as poor marketing strategies from the publisher and the parent company. And I think had either of those changed, had Blizzard maybe been the Blizzard of today rather than the Blizzard of when Overwatch came out, I think we'd see a different situation. Because at this point, I feel like enough people know Blizzard's not making Warcraft 2 anymore. Okay? They're not making these high-quality games anymore. They're just making games. Games that are about 7 to 10 years behind any given trend. They're iterators, not innovators. And that's something that I can say Gearbox for sure is with Battleborn and Borderlands 1. Innovators. So all that to say, I wish Battleborn had been given a free shake. I wish the game had done better. But if you're interested in any of the stuff you've seen or any of the stuff that I've talked about, you can still get Battleborn, to my understanding. So this has been my first sort of what I miss segment, and I'll likely do more of these in the future. I really like the idea of exploring games that maybe didn't get the spotlight that they should have gotten. They didn't get the love that they should have gotten. Of course, in my opinion, obviously the market decides all things. But these games just didn't get what I thought they should have gotten in terms of love or appreciation, sales, etc. So anyway, guys, this is a new series that I'm thinking about starting. So be sure to drop a comment below, hit that like button, the notification icon, and subscribe to us. Help us grow the channel. Regardless, we thank you for stopping by. I've been Chris. This has been the Tiger's Den, and you guys have been fantastic.